Hey, Miles here, milesbecker.com. This video is going beyond the morning routine. We're going to look at my daily routine. This comes from feedback from a recent video I did on my 7 success habits. And in that video, I got a lot of comments that said, hey, do a video that explains your whole daily routine, which is what we're going to cover here in this video. The first and most important thing I think I want to identify is that the morning routine is not enough. There's a lot of hoopla going around right now that's kind of making the morning routine sound like that's that magic thing. And if you just get that morning routine right, it's miracles. That's all you really need to do is the morning routine. Now, I want to give you a quick analogy. Imagine a professional sports team that goes out and says, just nail that first quarter. That's all you got to do is that first quarter. And then it doesn't really matter. Just get that first quarter right. That sports team is never going to win a championship. And that coach that has that approach to their professional level endeavor is going to get fired. So what I really want you to take away at first is the importance of having a whole day routine, having a routine that, yeah, sure, like let's start our mornings off right and let's make the most out of our morning hours. But let's make sure your routines are really truly setting you up to have a very productive day from start to finish. We sprint through the finish line around here. That's how my wife and I get so much done, is because of our daily routines. So I wanted to kind of debunk that myth that it's all about the morning routine. Sure, start your morning off right, but ultimately make sure you've got a whole day routine that supports you to get everything done. So for me, I'm up and I'm starting work by about 6 o'clock. Some days I wake up at about 4:45 and I'm actually in my chair at my office by 5 a.m. Rarely am I at my desk ready to work later than 6 in the morning. More often than not, it's earlier rather than later. One little caveat I want to drop in here before we get too far in. This is me. This is what works for me. I'm not telling you to do this by any means. I'm simply revealing how I approach my day to maximize the value I get and to maximize the impact I'm able to create. Take what works for you and leave what doesn't. I'm just illustrating what works for me. So again, getting up early, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, getting to start really, really early allows me to get so much more done in the morning hours that I really feel good about myself. And come lunchtime, I'm like amazed at how much productivity I've had, how much work product I've already published, because ultimately that's really what matters as a digital entrepreneur. So I always start with the most important tasks first. This is in contrast to the urgent tasks. I really have trained myself to not go into my email account, to not look at social media, to not really look at Slack or any of those kind of systems where other people are able to capture my attention early. I focus first and foremost in a couple of specific areas. For me, it's doing my daily email is one of those most important tasks. This is something I've written a daily email now every day for about 6 months straight. I believe I maybe missed one day in 6 months, and it's still a challenge for me, right? This is still a habit that I'm truly solidifying at a cellular level. Like I'm still rewiring my brain to be excited and ready and able to write a great email every single day. So that's what I do first in the morning, is I really focus on that email. The second is my group of inner circle members. I'm in there answering questions. I'm in there making sure people are moving forward, because I've invited a large group of people, or a medium-sized group of people, into my inner circle with the promise that I'm going to help them make this next year their best year ever. So that's where I go in the morning, when my willpower tank is full, when my ideas and when I'm really clear and I'm really ready to kind of be of service at scale to these people. That's where I go to answer questions, to update them, to give them feedback on their funnels, etc., etc. So that's really the 1-2 punch. And generally by this time, when I get done with this, the sun's starting to come out a little bit better. I use a little bit of natural light here in the studio, so I'm rarely recording my YouTube videos super early. But this kind of morning work session is usually 1.5 to 3 hours long. If I have extra time, I'm generally planning out my YouTube video if I've got a YouTube to publish that day, but I rarely record before 8 a.m. because the sun's not really up and I've got a south-facing window here. So I like to kind of wait till a little bit later in the day. So generally this work session is 1.5 to 3 hours long. And then my wife and I, we do breakfast. And for breakfast, we're generally going to do cereal. We do some sort of a porridge, like a rice porridge or an oatmeal. We might do a chickpea scramble of sorts to get a little protein in the morning. Something simple, something easy, quick to digest. And then at that point, we're out in nature. We literally leave from our house. We have a park nearby, and we're able to do about a 2.2-mile loop through this park. Now, this is obviously weather permitting, right? If it's 36 degrees and windy outside, and I'm talking like Fahrenheit degrees, not Celsius degrees. If it's that cold outside and blowing wind at 30 miles an hour, I'm not going outside. I'll be perfectly honest. Also, if and when we're traveling in the tropics, I usually move my early morning walks earlier. We walk up and down the beach really early in the mornings because it gets a little too hot later. So I stay a bit flexible in this, but here in this current kind of location, time and space that I'm at in this time-space continuum that we're all living through. It's about a 2.2-mile hike. I don't even need to get into a vehicle for this. This was really important for me in finding this place that we're at here. So I'm able to do that loop and get back. And at this point, I'm fed. I've got my energy up. I've kind of got my digestive system going. Everything's moving, and I'm ready to get back to work at that point. So I come back from this walk. I'll generally make like a matcha latte at this point in time. I do start my mornings off with a cup of coffee in the morning at that first session, but I like to do like a green matcha latte or maybe some yerba mate. I do sometimes go for a second cup of coffee at this point, and now I have a 2 to 3 hour work session. So this is my second work session, and at this point I do allow myself to go into Slack to see what's going on in there. I do allow myself to go into my email account to see what's going on there, and I'm kind of in average days work here. I'm still trying to focus on the important tasks. What I really focus on in this period is content marketing and optimization. So content marketing, this is the time of day when I'll be making my videos for my YouTube channel. Then along with doing the video and rendering that out, I've got the descriptions to write, the titles to do, the keyword research to do there. I'm often going into other videos relevant to the videos to link them over. So for example, when this video is published, I'm gonna go back into my 7 habits video I created, and then I'm gonna link that video over to this video to build that kind of web of relevance through the links in the content. That's just basic search engine optimization. That's what it means. That's what I'm doing there. And then we've got lunchtime. So at lunchtime, we're generally doing a salad, a big green salad with lots of seeds and nuts, maybe some pepperoncinis and some olives on the side. Every once in a while, we'll have a piece of sourdough toast with some kind of balsamic and some olive oil. But generally, it's just a leafy green, something that's easy to digest and raw, and something that's full of nutrients for us at lunch. And then at this point, we like to wrap up our morning work sesh. So whatever I was working on before lunch, at that point, it's like, okay, how do I get to a good stopping point midday? We always shoot to hit a stopping point midday, and that usually is after work, because after that we go into our meditation and to our afternoon hike, which is often around 4 miles. Generally, it's going to be at least another 2-mile loop, but we shoot for about 4 miles. Sometimes we go as high as 6 miles, but a 6-mile hike's I'm pretty weary. Not weary, I'm just tired at the end of that, right? Like I think about 4.5 miles. There's a lot of loops in this area that we do at that range, and this is really, so the meditation is separate. We'll meditate here at the house. I'll generally listen to a guided audio meditation, and then we'll go out and we'll hop in the car and go to a different trailhead around town. Usually it's still within 5 or 10 minutes drive of us here, and this is one of those ideas of we've built our lifestyle around our lifestyle, right? Like we chose a place that allows us to do all this hiking because we like to hike a lot because it helps us with our business. And on these hikes, we're often talking about our emails, our subject lines, our big picture plans, our new campaigns, what's going on in the future. We're planning, the Cyber Monday type stuff that we're doing. So my wife and I are masterminding nonstop on these hikes. So they serve kind of a multi-purpose for us. It's just time away from the computers. It's time out in nature. I feel like that's a very strong recharge. It's getting exercise out in nature, get that heart pumping, get the blood flowing, which is just really good for longevity and really good for kind of that life energy. And then we get to talk about things a lot, which is really cool because that's how we keep building these ideas of moving forward. If you don't have hiking trails in your area, maybe the gym is for you, which is what I saw in the the comments of the habits video, a lot of people utilize going to the gym every day to really kick their energy into that space. So that's another kind of alternative here. I just prefer to play out in nature, to be perfectly honest. And then at that point, we get back for an evening work session. You could call it a late afternoon work session in summertime, but now that the days are getting really short for us here in North America, it really feels like an evening work session. And at this point, I'm doing my researching, I'm outlining courses, and I'm creating courses. I'm outlining maybe new lead magnets. I'm outlining and drawing out new funnel optimization paths and new total funnels for my ads guy. I'm trying to lay out those newer big picture ideas that take more than a day and more than an afternoon to complete. So the stuff I work on in the morning is generally things I can kind of complete within that day to get that day's work product published, right? It's all about publishing every day, publishing more than you create. These afternoon times, I'm working on those bigger picture projects that sometimes take me 2 or 3 weeks to complete, like some of the trainings that I've uploaded in the back end of the membership program. Some of those are like 3-4 modules in like 5 or 6 hours, like the how to choose your niche training that I've got going on inside of there. The new one I'm working on right now is a full organic traffic domination course. It's probably gonna be like 4 segments, and I'm assuming it's gonna be 5 or so hours of recorded content. So this isn't really something I can just do in an afternoon. So I'm researching and putting it together. And this is when I record these presentations as well as in this afternoon session. And then from here, it's dinner time. And generally dinner time for us is going to be, we try to just create a complete protein that is completely vegetable based or completely plant based. So quinoa, broccoli, and chickpeas with a tahini sauce is a really common one. Just basic, simple meals again. And then after this, we work on the night session because this is when my team comes online. A lot of my team is in the Philippines, so I like to queue them up with a batch of work to do for their day while I'm resting, so I can wake up the next day and have more progress done. So an example of this for you is I'm working on a roundup post for the Cyber Monday and Black Friday kind of deals that are really actually quite noteworthy, and therefore some of the products that I already use and already recommend anyways. So I'm gonna make a basic page for this, and I'm gonna send it over to my graphics guy to make sure he's able to kind of design it and make it look good, right? I don't spend my time doing all those fancy layout things and creating all the little custom graphics. I let him do that. I just get the content dialed in and I send it over to him. Or if I'm doing a website audit, or if I'm doing an email audit, looking at all of my past subject lines and looking at the open rates and the click-through rates of my past emails, I don't actually go into all 90 emails that I've sent in the last 3 months. I have my virtual assistant do that. She's in the Philippines. I send her over and queue up that kind of work, maybe create a video to explain how to do it and send it off to her at that point. And then after the night session with the team, I usually go shift into studying, relaxing, and reading. I read a lot about economics and investing because that's one of the kind of thoughts I have in my brain for that next level, right? Once my day of creating income for my family is done, then I'm looking at how do I get the monies I've created to go make more monies for me, right? Like there's the kind of the business owner side of get the business to generate cash flow, but then it's like, how do I get my cash reserves to go create more cash reserves? So that's something I read about. I don't read much in the world of SEO or optimization. I've really tuned out a lot of the furus and the fake gurus and just the jibber jabber. There's so much repeated nonsense that comes from people reading headlines and regurgitating headlines that I just avoid it all. I do occasionally go through a course, and this is kind of the time when I'll be going through those courses. I'm on a few paid newsletters where I get monthly newsletters from individuals, and this is the time of the evening that I'll be reading through those. And Netflix comes on maybe at 8 o'clock or so, and then I'm usually in bed by 9 to 9:30. I'm rarely up past 10 o'clock. Even come New Year's, I'm struggling to stay up till midnight, but I could still pull it off. But and really that's more of a function of the fact that I love getting up early in the mornings and having that productive time. That means a lot to me, so it's worth it for me to kind of retire earlier in the evenings to have that full night's sleep and be ready to wake up in the mornings. And then I do this 6.5 days a week, not exactly 7 days a week. Sundays are kind of a kind of a freebie day. I still email my list every Sunday. I rarely do videos on Sunday for the main YouTube channel, although I do have a live broadcast planned. So my next, for the Content and Conversion Membership Program, I do live funnel reviews, and that's scheduled for this upcoming Sunday. So I'll be doing that on a Sunday. I still email on Sundays. Generally speaking, Sundays are a half day for me, and I really do a lot of reading. I really stack on the reading. This is when I get through books and audiobooks, and we clean the house and do other bits and pieces around the house just for fun to kind of get away from things. That said, I often do work all day on Sundays, and for me, a half day on Sunday is at least 6 to 7 hours of work, usually, because I love what I do. And that's it. That's really my full schedule. I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope this has been informative. Again, remember that my goal is not to try to tell you what to do. I just simply wanted to share what I've been doing because this works really well for me. And the big picture idea is that you need to find ways to continue to bump up your energy and to support yourself in having lots of natural energy that you can rely on to create the work product that moves the needle in your business. It's not enough to just focus on the first quarter of the game. It's not enough to just nail that morning routine and then piss off the rest of the afternoon, or to run out of energy by 2 or 3 in the afternoon and not have energy to really follow through till 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Because those in your niche, those who are going after the same audience, they're trying to be of service to that same audience that you're trying to be of service to. Your direct competitors are trying to outwork you. And yes, we want to work smarter and not harder, but I'm just mixing it up and doing both. I'm working smart and I'm working hard. I'm trying to be as ambitious as anyone in the space. I'm trying to outwork, and I'm not trying to, I'm outworking just about everyone in this space. And the results are in the numbers. My platform is growing extremely quickly, 75,000 subscribers on YouTube in just a couple of years. My list is growing. My revenue is through the roof. Every single sign of the key performance indicators in my business are flashing extremely positive and bright green. Why? Because I'm being very smart about the work I'm doing, but I'm working extremely hard. It's very common for me to work 12-hour days. It's very common for my rescue time report at the end of the week, which tracks all of what I do, to tell me that I worked 60 hours actual on the laptop hours. That's not talking about my whiteboard time. That's not talking about the masterminding time meeting with my wife. That's not talking about the time I spend with my notepads doing the work, laying out ideas, right? That's only actual work product on the computer time. So that's really how I've been able to grow my business again quickly. That's how we grew my wife's first business. That's how she applies her energy to that business that's still growing by leaps and bounds to this day. And I highly recommend you analyze your entire day. Right? It's not just about that morning routine. What's your full day routine? And how can you leverage your full day routine in a way to maximize the quality of energy and the amount of energy you have to focus towards creating great content and creating great things for your audience. When you put them first and when you put all of your energy towards being of service to them, you'll be amazed at what you can create. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up here. Feel free to share it. Feel free to comment. If you have any questions, hit me in the comments below. I'm happy to answer your questions as they come up in the comments when I have time. It's the day before Thanksgiving. If you're in North America here, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. If you're traveling, be safe out there. There's gonna be a lot of people on the roads. Be safe, and I look forward to connecting with you on the next video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell if you have, because I do 3 videos a week where I'm teaching you the tactics and the mindset required to grow a business from scratch online. I'm happy to share everything I know and everything that works for me with you for free here on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe. And on that note, I'm going to call it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Be well.